Hello everyone, today I have a build for the Mag Prime. The build will be focused on endurance game modes and you'll be using Magnetize and Well of Life and Nataruk. Now why do you want to use Well of Life in this build? Well, when you magnetize an enemy, it'll obviously make a magnetic field that ensnares them and it'll pull in enemies and projectiles and they'll be shredded by it. But the problem with this is that if the target that you casted Magnetize on dies, the pull-in effect will drop off. So what you want to do is cast Well of Life to make a target invulnerable, and then cast Magnetize on that target so that the target that you cast it on will not die, and it'll constantly pull in enemies, and they'll get shredded by the projectile you shot, which will be from Nataruk. And why Nataruk? Because Nataruk has infinite projectile, lifetime duration, and punch through, so it'll be perfect for keeping inside the Magnetized bubble to completely destroy enemies. Now, the build on the Warframe itself. The armor mod, you can go with whatever you want. I just took corrosive projection for reduction in enemy armor. And then Exilus, I have Cutting Drift for increase in ability range. Now I have Prime Continuity, Augur Message, and Constitution, plus Nearest Hatred for increase in ability duration. And then I have Stretch, Augur Reach, and Overextended to increase ability range, as ability duration and ability range is the most important part of the build. And then I have Magnetized Discharge, which will increase the Magnetize range by 45%. Now for the arcanes, you can go with whatever you want. I don't really run anything, so it's up to you for whatever you want to run. Then also here, I have full red Archon shards giving ability duration, so currently it gives a total of 50% ability duration. If you want to see the durations of the ability without having the Archon shards, I can just take out my Prime Continuity, which will take off 50% ability duration. So it'll just act as if I had Prime Continuity on there already, as I have 5 shards giving me 50%. So what it'll look like is Magnetize will give 32 seconds and 32.55 second duration, and Well of Life will last 43.4 seconds. And if you put this back on, it'll be 40 seconds and 53.4. Now, the modding on Nataruk itself, I just have a gas build. I have Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot, Galvanized Attitude for status chance and gun condition overload, Rifle Elementalist for status damage, Malignant Force and Thermite rounds, these will mix to give gas, Vital Sense for increased critical damage, Hellfire for increased heat, which will just go into gas, and then Critical Delay for increasing crit chance. The Arcane I'm using here is primarily Merciless, where on kill you gain 30% damage for 4 seconds, which acts up to 12x, and the reload speed is kind of just negligible. Now, for making enemies invulnerable, I know some people will go with Garuda's Blood Altar, as that will make enemies invulnerable, and you can kind of cast it anywhere, even on an enemy that is floating in midair. But I went with Well of Life because Well of Life will absorb status effect damage intended for nearby allies, which is great. And then you also gain healing too, so that's also beneficial. And then it also has immortality, where if you were to die while a Well of Life target is up, instead of you dying, the Well of Life target will die, and you'll stay alive. So you get a bunch of nice little effects from having Well of Life, so that's why I chose to go with Well of Life. Now, before I get into the demonstrations, I'd really appreciate it if you could drop a like or a subscribe, as that would help me out a lot. Thank you! The enemies I'll be demonstrating against is 20 Corrupted Epic Honors with the Steel Path modifier on at enemy level 135. And here it is to demonstrate. Cast Well of Life on the target, then cast Magnetize on it. Then you're ready to go. Just shoot a single projectile in there, and then watch as they just get shredded. Also add another one if you want. But now, you'll just have an area that just completely pulls in enemies and just absolutely shreds them. Just really nasty. And that'll last as long as your Magnetized duration and Well of Life is fine. So there you go. Then in survival and stuff, just find a nice room, cast Well of Life on the target, and then Magnetize and shoot a couple of shots in, and then everything will just get shredded. That's the build. A pretty nasty one, and it's very, very effective. Hope you enjoyed the video and try to build yourself, as it's very solid in endurance game modes and it's pretty fun to use. Just be careful of shooting too many projectiles inside the Magnetize, as it'll make a pretty bright mess, is all I can say. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.